So I've been asked over the years, a lot of people really seem interested in how do you turn a hobby into a profession? And it's a pretty challenging conversation, and I can only speak for me and how I did it. But I've spoken to enough people about it that I know there's a few little relatable pieces of insight here. So I'll share those with you now. It's important to know that when I first started, I didn't do anything that you could call research. I didn't have any magical insights. My customers were telling me what they were missing. And back during the days where I was a guy who worked out of his own garage using nothing but Gumtree ads to promote it, people were so keen to get what they were missing in the traditional bike shop environment that they were happy to drive to me in a faraway suburb after hours every night of the week. Now, having people turn up at your house late at night every single day creates its own set of problems. But that is the exact thing that anyone with a hobby has to go through in order to figure out what they actually need to do to turn the hobby into a job. If you want it bad enough, solving the supply constraint of only available after hours becomes your obsession. You find the thing that feels effortless and you apply maximum effort. And without going too far off into the weeds, that's where all the magic is. People who are unhappy with their life, with their job, with their circumstances, they have never opened that can of worms. They have never pursued something that actually energizes them instead of wearing them out. It's one of the best things you can ever do with, relative to your working life. I recommend it. But just like every other facet of life and work and whatever else needs to be stitched together to create your own version of success, there comes a time when the romance dies and suddenly it's not as fun as it used to be, but you still want it more than ever. That for me was an indicator that I'd reached the limit of my current skill set. And that limit hinged on my own reluctance to really treat this like a business. So for the first 2 or 3 years, I don't think I ever bothered looking at revenue, profit, margins, weekly, monthly, quarterly trends. I didn't know if I was going up or down. I didn't even really know the value of my own time. And I definitely, with hindsight, I now know that I wasn't charging out my mobile services at anything even approaching a sustainable rate. But I wanted it bad enough that I was prepared to admit that I'd hit a wall and it was time to sit down and focus on learning new skills. That seemed really, really boring to me, but it was necessary to break through to the next level. Nothing outwardly impressive, nothing outwardly visible. There was no sudden change like, wow, Kyle's really running a business all of a sudden. There's nothing like that. Just little incremental improvements, piece by piece, until I hit the next self-imposed barrier. And to this day, I still operate like that. I haven't found a better system. I haven't heard of a better system. The big difference is how quickly can you recognize and address the gaps in your own skill set. That's something I continue to try and get better at. And until I find another way, I'm going to keep doing that. And if you're trying to turn your hobby into a job, that's probably where you're at too.